Well, we're back in the studio. So, what's going on with this feud with Elon Musk and Trump and the big, beautiful bill and all that? We'll see how that all plays out. But here's what small business owners need to be considering to save on taxes. We're approaching the second quarter, and if you're proactive, you have a good idea for what your numbers are. But the reality is the only way to save on taxes to be proactive. So, what are some of the things that are in the big, beautiful bill that are great for business owners? Well, we're going back to the original Trump tax law change cuts. We're still operating in the Trump tax law change cuts, but this is going to be extension of the most of them. The biggest one that would be helpful is depreciation. So you're buying new trucks, you're buying new equipment, new studio equipment, new vehicles, and the like. There's bigger depreciation deductions in the new bill that's going to be extended. Now, what does this all mean as far as the deficit is concerned? Well, time will tell. If you go back to history during the Reagan years, there were tax cuts, but those cuts were offset by the growth in the economy. That's what basically is going on right now with the Treasury Secretary and the powers to be who are attempting to get these tax cuts enacted. Now, of course, there's always the challenge of the Congress, and there's a lot of people out there, and this is where the controversy comes in with the folks in the the Musk camp, where they're saying there's not enough cuts. After all the work that they did, they still believe we're overspending. So without cutting back spending and increasing the tax cuts, what's happening is a lot of folks are going to say we are not only increasing the deficit explicitly, but we're going to increase it in the long run. History tells two different stories. Now, during the last Trump administration, prior to COVID, as you all have heard, the stats are that we cut taxes, the economy took off, grew, and it grew more than what the deficit was being increased by. Only time will tell. The bad news is for all of this is that we can't continue on with deficits, right? In the long run, that's not going to work for any of us, whether you're currently business owners or whether you're looking towards the future for generations to come. But here's the thing. What does this have to do with a small business owner? Well, at the moment, most of our businesses are still seeing great opportunities in research and development tax credits, and we look for those to expand even further with these latest changes. What else do we see going on? We see the depreciation deduction being increased, which is always a good thing. So when you're deploying and buying new equipment, you're going to get those tax cuts, reductions of income. And then finally, the tax rates themselves are going to stay relatively modest, including the capital gains rates. And last but not least, the overall corporate tax for the larger corporations, or many of you that have what's known as a C corporation out there, when that's staying around 21%, I'm a firm believer that eventually, if you're going to increase that tax, it's just going to be passed on to whoever the consumer is of those products and services. So what I'd be looking for the second quarter is getting real good P&L numbers, seeing where things are going, looking at setting up retirement plans, looking at what you can do as far as if you're a senior as well, taking advantage of the required minimum distribution laws that push those out further, perhaps taking advantage of Roth conversions. And then finally, looking at what you can do to purchase equipment if that's necessary, vehicles if that's necessary, so that you can deploy that capital on your side of the fence. Here's the bottom line. The old days of compliance are done. Right? I've been to many, many webinars, many seminars in person and virtual where we're starting to see AI preparing tax returns, right? It's compliance. Compliance is important. We're not asking you to play fast and loose. But here's what's really important. The real opportunity here is to be proactive and work with someone who's proactive. You as a business owner have a responsibility to yourself. When you're proactive and you reduce your tax bill legally as best you can, especially small business owners, which are the lifeblood of the economy, what happens is you increase your cash flow. You know why? Because that June 15th tax payment that's coming up for the second quarter estimate is a lower number when working with someone like ourselves and we're talking to our clients and knowing what's going on. So keep that in mind. Are you a landscaper? Good for you. Fuel costs are down. Are you out there entertaining folks in the form of meals and beverages? Yeah, that stuff's still deductible too. And that's the extensions we're looking for. Now, the pure entertainment value, that's not going to be a deduction. As you know, we do not have entertainment expenses. Travel for this summer, how can you convert some of that travel expense to business expense? Can you combine that with your family, whether it's Europe, whether it's domestic, whether it's in Latin America, wherever you're going, Pacific areas? So take a look, see what's going on. Be proactive, talk to someone. If we can be of service, I'd be glad to jump on a quick call with you, give you a free diagnostic. We sit down, we use real numbers, and give you projections of what we think you could be saving on taxes. So that's the bottom line right now for this quick tax sense update. Tony Bruce, CPA, more than just an accountant.